Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess, and on this edition, federal observers target Arizona polls.
It was part of an effort to ensure transparency, ballot security, and compliance with federal law.
Traffic deaths are surging in Tucson. And better insurance deals for cannabis sellers.
Marijuana is federally illegal, making businesses that sell it more risky to insure.
That's ahead for Thursday, July 23rd, 2026. As the primaries unfolded on Tuesday, election observers with the federal government visited voting centers in 3 Arizona counties. Angela Gervasi tells us more.
The Department of Justice sent election observers to 3 counties, Apache, Maricopa, and Pima. In a news release, the agency stated it was part of an effort to ensure transparency, ballot security, and compliance with federal law. The DOJ did not go into detail about why it selected those 3 counties in particular. It's also not clear which specific voting centers received a visit from the observers. A spokesperson for the Pima County Elections Department confirmed with AZPM that Elections Director Constance Hargrove was aware of federal observers visiting voting centers, though she did not interact with them personally. The spokesperson also said Hargrove did not receive any complaints from poll workers regarding the observers. The Trump administration has continued to allege voter fraud in Arizona and other states without evidence. Angela Gervasi, AZPM News.
Following Tuesday's primary election, it didn't take long for Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs and her opponent, Republican Congressman Andy Biggs, to launch advertising campaigns to reach general election voters. Biggs won the Republican gubernatorial primary by a wide margin, according to the Associated Press, earning the chance to take on Hobbs in the November general election. The Hobbs campaign launched a series of advertisements on Wednesday, including an attack ad painting Biggs as out of touch as a Washington, D.C. insider responsible for backing unpopular economic policies such as President Donald Trump's tariffs. In his first commercial of the campaign, Biggs, a close Trump ally and former leader of the far-right House Freedom Caucus, touts himself as a candidate focused on protecting children and willing to work on bipartisan solutions. Community members filled up the Dunbar Springs Pavilion last night to hear about updates on the City of Tucson's planned mixed-income housing development. The 119-unit complex is planned on the northeast corner of Stone Avenue and Speedway Boulevard. Residents raised concerns about the project's design, its potential effect on traffic and safety. Ravi Patel from the nearby University Inn said the project's vicinity to Anza and Estevan parks raises concerns.
I would encourage looking at those options to teaming up with TPD or whatever, partnering up with them to keep that park like kind of monitored in a sense. It's not homeless people, it's bad people. I would change the verbiage a little.
The Deputy Director of Housing and Community Development, Joanna Hernandez, said all comments will be recorded and addressed at the next community meeting. Phase 1 of the project is estimated to start next summer. A man struck by a car in Midtown Tucson in June has died from his injuries, bringing the number of pedestrian deaths in the city this year to 20. That's double the amount from this time last year. Around 8:30 p.m. on June 29th, police say 55-year-old Michael Sean McNeil was using a mobility walker to cross East Broadway Boulevard near the University of Arizona campus when he was hit by a passenger vehicle. The car then fled the scene, and police are still searching for it. According to police, there have been 52 total traffic fatalities in Tucson this year, 10 more than at this time in 2025. Arizona's junior U.S. Senator has introduced bipartisan legislation that would protect insurance companies that sell policies to marijuana businesses. From Phoenix, Matthew Casey reports.
Marijuana is federally illegal, making businesses that sell it more risky to insure. So Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego and a Republican colleague from North Dakota want to pass the CLAIM Act and give insurance companies safe harbor. Crest Insurance Vice President Mike McGee works with Arizona-based marijuana businesses. He says if the bill becomes law,
more and more carriers are going to be willing to offer coverage, and that in the end will start to make insurance premiums go down.
The CLAIM Act was first introduced in Congress in 2023. McGee says it has a better chance to pass now that medical marijuana was recently reclassified as a less dangerous drug. Matthew Casey, Phoenix.
The Arizona Department of Education recently determined that the Arizona State School for the Deaf and Blind breached federal law by failing to provide individualized placement for its students following the closure of its Tucson campus. When the school announced it was relocating to Oro Valley, many visually impaired and residential students were told they wouldn't be included in the move. The University of Arizona's Law Education Advocacy Clinic argued this violated federal law, which requires placement decisions to be based on a student's individual needs rather than administrative convenience. The Education Department agreed. Following the clinic's complaint, a state monitor was appointed to ensure the school offers a legitimate range of educational options by August 28th. The University of Arizona is getting funding from the U.S. Department of Energy. Katya Mendoza has that story.
5 U of A research projects have been selected by the agency's Genesis mission, a nationwide initiative to accelerate scientific research by using artificial intelligence. The projects span quantum science, earth systems, computational biology, and AI. University officials say the school was in the top 4% of other universities that were also awarded. A total of 278 projects were selected from the 342 participating institutions. The Genesis mission was launched by an executive order from President Trump in November 2025 to build the world's largest collection of federal scientific data sets. I'm Katya Mendoza, AZPM News.
A federal judge heard arguments Wednesday in the Tohono O'odham Nation's ongoing lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security over new border wall construction. The nation filed an initial complaint in June over DHS's plans to build 62 miles of new border wall along tribal land. The complaint alleges the federal agency pursued those plans without the consent of the Tohono O'odham Nation. After hearing arguments, federal Judge Richard Leon gave both parties another week to file supplemental pleadings, according to court documents filed Wednesday. It comes as DHS continues to build new barriers along Arizona's southern border, including double border walls slated for much of the state. And now you're caught up on stories we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. You can subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess, and we'll be back tomorrow.